A woman from Rolla is facing several felony charges for a series of incidents. So court records show first, Samantha Feeler walked into a gas station on North Bishop Avenue last Friday afternoon, showed a pocket knife, threatened the clerk, and demanded cash out of the register. Feeler took off, though, after the clerk backed away. Less than an hour later, Feeler is accused of using that same pocket knife to threaten a woman who was sitting inside of her car at the Walmart parking lot. Feeler then went back to her car when the woman started screaming. So Feeler went into the Walmart, where then police arrested her. Court records show then, though, Feeler tried to grab the officer's taser when they removed the handcuffs from her at the jail. She is scheduled to appear in court this morning.